Dasher, and we're back for episode 3 of DIY Dasher, I'm going to call it. And just a new series. I'm going to keep doing dashing videos, of course, but anytime I work on the car, I think I'll, do some videos and be a way you guys can, take a look if you like my other videos, of course, or, you want to become familiar with kind of doing some of this stuff yourself. I'm not full-blown mechanic or anything, but have worked on cars quite a bit and pretty familiar, but so this stuff is all pretty easy that I'm going to be doing. Some stuff later might be a little bit more advanced, but hey, you know what? We're all here for entertainment. So see you guys on the next dash. All right, next issue to address. We got, this side is kind of okay, but might as well do both. And I just replaced these probably 6 months ago. But I did the backs with these ones, and they're perfect, great. You don't use the back as much, but nice and quiet. Front passenger squeaking horribly. And I watched that Scotty Kilmer I used to watch, and he said, use these Akabono. Don't get Akamono, they're junk. I said, oh, they're the quietest. No, they suck. So I'll show you one thing to look for when you get brake pads. See, this is riveted on here, this nice plate, and it doesn't go over the edges on these Bosches. On those Akabonos, the little tabs go around this, so they're kind of floating on the back of this, and I think that's what it is. I don't think the pads wore out per se, but I think this metal thing is loose, and so there's a cylinder that presses on this, and when you do, this little thing is rattling over there on that side. But since I've got this wheel off and everything, it's only literally like 2 bolts. That's the bleeder. So you got 2 bolts there. Loosen up and this just comes off. If you've got the little tool, you can spread it, or you can use a screwdriver or whatever and put a new pad in. Super easy. Might as well do it right now. I had to bust these old beasts out. Look at this. Gear wrenches. I bought these when they first came out in like 2002, 3. Those are 20 years old. Still working. I think we're at 14 here. Nope, 15. Okay, it's got to be a 15. I know it is. What are you doing here? I know it ain't an 18. Is it an 18? Oh, son of a bitch, it is an 18. So you've got one there that spins, and then you can loosen that, but you have to keep pressure on it or it'll just spin out, see? If I try to turn that, it's just spin on the caliper. Got our big old breaker bar. It's already loose, but see if I can do it with one hand on the wrench. Rest on there and hold it. Yep. This is a cool ratcheting one. Harbor Freight, cheapy, but works. Their ratchets work awesome. I've never had one problem. I beat the hell out of them. They still work. We're gonna use a shorter one because that's too long. That's holding it nice and good there. Wish I was out making money though, not doing this, but you don't do this, you can't make money either. Or you gotta pay money, which is even worse. And you'll see this just comes off. And just make sure it's hanging on this hose back here. You should have like a coat hanger or a bungee cord or something to set it on, which reminds me I should grab real quick, but you don't want this hanging on that because it'll make that go bad. Now, granted, I am trying to do this with one hand. And see, mine are double piston. Some only have one, single one, but that's it. There's your pads. And I gotta set this down. I just set it up there because this is gonna be quick. If you were doing the rotors, you'd have to take all this apart. But what I did is, I did the everything at once in like January or February this last year, the CV and all that, and then the wheel bearing with the sensor and everything. It's all been, this is all brand new. So these just, see? Exactly what I told you. Look at these pieces of shit. They just sit on there. Look, they just fall right off. Crap. You ever see brake pads like that? Don't get them. They're shit. They'll cause squeaking. Garbage. I'll just take a flathead here and pry these off. Yeah, you're not supposed to push on the rotor. Who gives a shit? The rotor's nice and smooth. Tell you know if you need it done. Got one pad. And see, there's tons of life left on these. And technically, I could probably put them in there without that backer pad on it or whatever, but these are only like 35, 40 bucks or something. Much better. Might as well just take care of the squeaking, get it all done at once. So when you get pads too, they'll come with these clips, and you want to make sure you replace them. Go on. And I'll save these pads because, you know, maybe I'm broke in the future and these get wore down or whatever, and, you know, they're usable. They're just noisy. You'll look for this one too with the tab on it, the big tab. When they wore out, that's the squeaker tab. So that will rub against the rotor right there on the inside, and it makes that awful sound. But anyways, save those. I'll put them in this box and put them with all my other junk. All right, and you want to take some brake clean too. Just put it on the rag. You could spray it on there if you really wanted to. Just clean the rotors up. You might as well and have it off, you know, get any kind of gunk and shit on there, off of there, wherever you can. And I already put some of the stuff on there, if I can find it. Where the hell did I do with it? They come with these little packets too, you put on. But before you put the clip on, there's some, there we go, jeez. Brake parts lubricant. I put a little bit on there, and then, again, where'd it go? There it is. And then we'll throw the clip. Super easy. That's it. You just slide the new. There is one little tool I'll show you here in a minute, but I'm gonna get the other clip on and start putting the pads in. Okay, that one's a little hard because you got that tab there. So I just take a little hammer, kind of push it down and tap it a little bit. This one's usually pretty easy. I mean, this is how easy pads are, guys. I mean, I know some of you are probably familiar with this, but if you're not, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's hard to do it with one hand. Okay, so see, it's almost in there. And, you know, what I'll do is take my little shitty hammer and see if I can do it. I can't do it with the phone. Done. There you go, new brake pads. So if you're paying for that too, you don't have to. It's really easy. Now, we got to get that back on. So there is a tool here that I've got. They make different kinds. This one's just a little cheapy, Harbor Freight again. It is to compress that piston. So you have to compress that piston so you can get this get that over the new pads. Those ones were pretty thick already, so it might be okay. But generally, because these are thicker and you're replacing worn out, they're going to be more compact. Now you can turn the bleeder and let that out, but you might get air in the line. You can cram it with a screwdriver, however you want to do it. Just pick up one of these. They're like $8 and they're super simple. All right, well, phone's almost dead, but here we go. So that's tightening there. And then basically you want to go slow, especially if you have 2 pistons, and just kind of turn this. I might have to get pliers and kind of turn it there. But you'll see here, this piston's going to go in. Just do it slow. You don't need to go crazy. It'll probably, it's pretty close to being bottomed out as it is, because those other pads were pretty thick. You can see now it's almost all the way in there. Probably shouldn't bottom it all the way out, but I'm going to. So that one's done. It's all the way down. Now I got to do the other piston back there because these have 2. All right, so these come with that grease. See, and it's green-ish, just like the other stuff. And you want to put it on the backs of the pads there. So you want to put a bunch on there, and you'll just smear it around on. And then also you'll want to put, like this car's older, so I want to get some on the bushing or rubber bushing that's around there. Kind of just make sure it has a little bit of lube and a little bit of grease on there, and keep it nice and lubricated. That way I'm not having to replace this caliper, because these are $80-100. Not the end of this world, but you know, why pay extra if you don't have to? All right, got those all greased up. Probably way more than you need, but whatever. Ain't gonna hurt. It'll just wear off. So you're just gonna slide this on. I probably should do it with 2 hands, but all right, 2 hands. All right, so we're gonna borrow some of this. I have some somewhere, but I can't find it. So red, you could use red. I mean, red's supposed to be able to, you're supposed to have to use like high strength. Most people would use blue, but I'm gonna put that on the threads here. And basically what that does is it's kind of like a super glue. It's just gonna kind of help it not spin out on itself. And the likelihood of that happening is pretty rare, but why not cover yourself? So we'll just put it on those threads right there, and then those 2 bolts, and that just slid on. That was it. That's all it is for pads. Easy.